Hello learners, welcome to this session today. We begin with the first unit of course 2, your food and its utilization today. This is part of the certificate program in food and nutrition. So today we'll be talking about food, nutrition and nutritional status. I'm Professor Deeksha Kapoor from the discipline of Nutritional Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University. In the first course, you may remember learning about food, nutrients, and the functions performed by the food. So it is clear that food is essential for life. The human body, in fact, is made from food. It is the raw material for the body. Everything in our body was once in the food we eat. From a single cell, life begins. And to our present side, food has become us. The muscles, the brain, the blood, the bones, all are made from the food we eat. You have learned earlier too that food gives you energy and the stamina to work. It gives you the raw material to make your body. It also provides emotional stability, security. Therefore, good nutrition is important for feeling or having a feeling of well-being and for good health. Therefore, in this lecture today, we will first take you through what is nutrition and the concept of nutritional status and malnutrition. Part of the lecture you may have already gone through in our earlier sessions. You have been oriented to the functions of food, to the nutrients present in foods, what are their functions in the body. But to be able to understand the concept of nutritional status and malnutrition, let us recapitulate these concepts once again here in this session. So let's get started. So what is food and what is nutrition? You recall we learned that food is anything we eat and drink to nourish our body, whereas nutrition is the process by which the body assimilates food to meet its physiological needs. The food performs some very major functions in our body. Let us again recall what we studied earlier. There are three major functions. The main is the physiological function performed by the food we eat. The food gives us the energy to carry out the activities. You learned that the food gives us the building block for making or building the body. It helps in maintaining the body, and food protects us from disease and it regulates the various processes of the body. Apart from the physiological functions, food has very important socio-cultural functions and the psychological functions. Need for food, the emotional acceptance is also met by food itself. So let us then look at what are the physiological functions, starting with the energy-giving function of food. You have learned that food is required to give you energy. Energy for carrying out the various involuntary and the voluntary activities of the body. Have you ever given a thought to the fact that our heart beats 24/7, the digestive system works, we breathe non-stop, and all these activities require energy. These are the involuntary activities which go on continuously, for which energy is required. And therefore, food performs a very important function. In addition to the involuntary activities, we have the voluntary activities like we work, we play, we clean the house, we cook, we perform various other activities, and all this are the voluntary activities which require energy. Therefore, Food has a very important energy-giving function. You have learned that food helps synthesize the tissues in the body, therefore the bodybuilding function and the maintenance function. So growth and development of the body is possible through the food we eat. And how do we know that the body is growing? The increase in weight, height is a good indicator. As already you are aware that life starts from a single cell, and that single cell multiplies into number of cells, and from it we become what we are today. So this increase in size of the body, weight, height is possible because of the substances present in food which aid in bodybuilding. Also, food is required to maintain the body. The body tissues are constantly worn out and new cells are added. And for this, you need food, the substances present in food to maintain the body. The last physiological function is the regulatory function along with the protection to the body. Among the regulatory functions, the beating of the heart, the maintenance of body temperature, the muscle contraction, removal of waste from the body, all these go on, and food provides some essential substances to also protect the body from diseases. Apart from these three physiological functions, as already informed, food plays very important psychological function in our body. Food satisfies hunger. The emotional needs, including the feeling of security, love, attention, is fulfilled by the food, particularly the food which is cooked by the person you love, and that adds to your joy of eating. You may recall as a child getting back from school, looking forward to the food made by your mother. In fact, till date, we remember certain foods which we say that only our mother could do that job or could make that dish so deliciously. So that is the emotional need, or food fulfilling that emotional need. Food also gives us pleasure and satisfaction. It gives us a feeling of acceptance, friendship when we share food with our peer, with people we love. It gives you a feeling of acceptance. That is the psychological or the emotional function of food. Other than that, food also has important socio-cultural functions. Food creates an atmosphere where social relations can be developed. It helps bring people closer. You must have seen that when we have a meeting or seminars, food is an important part. Refreshments are given and views are exchanged over the food served. Then sweets are served during festivity. In festivals, we share food with each other. So food helps share happiness and joy. When we clear a particular exam or we have passed, we celebrate by offering food to each other. In marriages, food form a very important part of the marriage. So food gives us happiness and joy. Therefore, food is important physiologically, psychologically, and for the social, cultural well-being of the individual. Now it is important to understand what is it which is present in food which performs these functions. Yes, the concept of nutrients. You have already learned about it, so we are again recalling that these substances are the chemical substances which are called nutrients, which are present in food, which perform these major functions we've just talked about. You've talked about the essential nutrients such as the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and of course water and fiber. And we learned earlier that those which are present in large amount in foods are called macronutrients, like the fat, carbohydrate, protein, water, and those which are present in small amount in foods are called the micronutrients, like the vitamins and the minerals. So let us then look at these nutrients and what functions they perform in the body. We've already talked about overall functions of the food, and those functions are because of the presence of these nutrients. So first, let us look at the energy-giving nutrients. We have learned that carbohydrates, fat are the body fuel. They are the main nutrients which are used to provide energy. Yes, even proteins provide us energy. As you are aware, 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of fat provides double the calories, that is 9 kilocalories. What are kilocalories? That is the unit of energy, and we can define it as the amount of heat which is required to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water by 1 degree centigrade. So 1 gram of carbohydrate will provide approximately 4 kilocalories. The same amount is also provided by proteins, but it is not the function of the protein to be providing energy. It has the other important function of bodybuilding, which we will take up in a little while. Therefore, the main body fuel, it is clear to all, is carbohydrates and fats. So when we are planning a diet, what we need to do, we need to ensure that the maximum energy comes from either the carbohydrates or the fat. So a diet, say if you need 1,000 calories, or if then 50 to 60% of the total calories should be coming from the carbohydrates. About 20 to 30% of the calories should be coming from the fats in your diet, and 10 to 15% total calories in the diet can come from the proteins. Therefore, it is important to understand that the carbohydrates and fats are essential for the performing the energy functions of the body. What are the food sources of carbohydrates and fats in our diet so as to meet these energy needs? We have also learned that the starches found in the food, like cereal products, rice, wheat products, bread, chapatis, they all contain starch and they are rich sources of carbohydrate. Roots and tubers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, they provide starch, which are the sources of carbohydrate in a diet. Milk provides lactose, which is a carbohydrate. And we've talked about sugars found in sugar, jaggery, honey, some fruits. They are all rich sources of carbohydrate in the diet. So we must ensure that we consume these in amounts so as to meet 50 to 60% of our calories from these foods. Moving further, fats. We've said that about 20 to 30% of the calories in our diet should come from fats. And we know that there can be vegetable sources of fat in our diet, and we can have the animal sources. For the vegetable sources, these are the visible sources, which is in the form of fat or oil we use for cooking the food. Of course, nuts and oilseeds are also rich in fat. They also are rich in proteins, as you will see later. But it is the oils which are extracted from the nuts and oilseeds which are the major visible sources of fat in our diet. We may use either the mustard oil, the groundnut oil, the coconut oil in some areas, or the soybean oil, sunflower oil, whichever oil we use, that is the vegetable source of fat in our diet, the visible. Then you have also food coming from the fat coming from the food we eat. For example, the animal sources like the milk, egg, flesh food, they are rich sources of fat in our diet. So these are the invisible. We can't see it, but the fats contain them. We also have butter, ghee, cream, which are the visible sources, but from the animal foods. So these are the food sources of fat which we can include to obtain the energy for our activities. Moving further, the second group of nutrient, which is the bodybuilding nutrient, that is proteins. Proteins help to build new tissues and helps in repair of worn out tissues, and also it helps in maintaining the body tissues, as we have already been learning about it in the earlier sessions. We have talked about the food sources of proteins in the diet. Of course, we have the animal protein sources, we have the plant protein sources. We also learned that the protein coming from the animal sources like milk, egg, meat, fish, poultry are good quality proteins. And the plant-based proteins coming from pulses can be of a little poor quality, but we need to, or we can improve the quality of proteins by having cereal pulse combinations. We can have soya bean, we can have nuts and oil seeds. These are all important sources of protein in our diet. Therefore, our diet must provide this important nutrient proteins so as to help in our growth, development, and maintenance of the body subsequently. The last group of nutrient we talked about were the protective and the regulatory nutrient. Under this, we have the minerals and the vitamins. Minerals have a very important role, as you have already studied in course 1. Important minerals like iron, calcium, iodine, zinc, we have talked are important. Iron is needed for the pigment hemoglobin, which carries oxygen. Calcium, we learnt, is required for development of bones and teeth. Zinc is needed for growth of children. And each of these have specific food sources. Like calcium is easily available from milk and milk products, green leafy vegetables. Likewise, iron can also be obtained from green leafy vegetables. From animal sources, the flesh foods, meat and meat products are good sources. Pulses can provide us iron too. Zinc is present from nuts, meat, poultry. In fact, if your protein requirements are met, the requirement for zinc can be automatically met. Therefore, these nutrients are important. Along with minerals, vitamins play a very important role, though they are required in small amounts, but they play a very important role. As you have already learned earlier, they are required for growth and development. Vitamins are required for good vision, for healthy skin, for protection from infections. You may recall studying about the water-soluble vitamins, for example, the B complex vitamin, vitamin C, and we also talked about the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K. And each of this have their specific food sources. So if you would like, you could go back to those sessions where we talked about each individual vitamin and their requirements. So do look up those. But in general, like vitamin A, you will find them in milk and milk products, green leafy vegetables. Vitamin C, for instance, is abundantly present in citrus fruits like lime, lemon, guava, oranges. Vitamin B complex groups, whole grain cereals, nuts, they can be good sources of vitamin B. So do look up that session, the lecture, where we talked about each of these nutrients. The other macronutrient which is most important is water. You know that the body contains about 60 to 60% of the body weight is water. And this water has other major functions. It helps in digestion, absorption of food, as you will see subsequently in your other lectures. It is required to maintain, regulate the body temperature. It acts as a medium in which body substances can dissolve and thus be transported to different tissues for various metabolic activities. Water helps in elimination of waste from the body. It acts as a lubricant and it prevents friction in the joints. So water is essential, and it is important to have enough water, adequate amount of water, at least 5 to 6 glasses in any form. You may recall the lecture on beverages which contribute to the water content in the body. You have juices, you have milkshakes. Any of these beverages can contribute to the water content along with water present in the food itself. Along with water, dietary fiber or the fiber present in food is a very important substance for regulating the body processes. What is dietary fiber? Dietary fiber is the edible part of plants, basically carbohydrates that are resistant to digestion and absorption in the small intestine. For example, you eat fruits and vegetables, the skin of the fruits. In the green leafy vegetables, the fiber present in the green leafy vegetables, whole grain cereals, the outer covering. These are all examples of fiber present. Interestingly, these are edible, but enzymes are not present in the body to digest these. Therefore, they remain undigested and they are either complete or partially fermented in the large intestine. And they have a very important function in the body. And let us have a look at those functions then. For example, fiber actually gives us the feeling of satiety. A high fiber food, it induces a feeling of fullness. It gives us a feeling of having a full, satisfying meal. And our food intake, by eating a diet rich in fiber, you get a feeling of fullness. You tend to get hungry a little later than you would if you were eating other foods. Besides giving satiety, it adds to the stool weight. It increases the fecal bulk. How? Because it remains undigested in the intestine and it has the property to absorb water and become soft, and it eases in the defecation process. And fiber also has many health benefits. It helps in the prevention of certain diseases like the heart diseases, diabetes. It reduces the risk of cancer. Therefore, fiber is a very important component of the diet. So we have now looked at the nutrients present, what are their functions in the body, and why they are essential. And this understanding was important for the understanding of nutritional status. What do we mean by nutritional status? Let's look at it. The state of the body resulting from the kind and amount of food supplied to it is termed as nutritional status. So, the state of your body after consuming these nutrients, the effect of this on the body. You can have a good nutrition if you consume the right kind of food in the right amount, or on a poor diet, you may land up with malnutrition. So the state of the body resulting from the kind of and the amount of food you eat is called the nutritional status. So we generally tend to look at the nutritional status of individuals to know whether they are healthy or not. Are they maintaining good health? What do I mean by maintaining good health? We will come to it. But first, let us understand what I mean by normal nutrition or normal nutritional status. If we get all the essential nutrients in the current amount, proportion to meet our body needs and maintain the body in good health, we say that we are in good nutritional status. So the defining parameter is to maintain good health. How do I define good health then? Well, as defined by the World Health Organization, WHO, health is a state of complete physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. We tend to relate healthy to being only the absence of disease, that if I do not have fever, I am healthy. No, it is also physical, social, mental, and spiritual. You need to be psychologically, emotionally balanced, socially adaptable, along with absence of disease to be able to be healthy. Therefore, the right kind of food leading to good health, leading to maintaining a good status of nutrition is what is important. And that is what normal nutrition is all about. That is what we need to aim when we are talking about having a right kind of food in the right amount and proportion. However, if this is not the case, the resultant problem is malnutrition. So malnutrition, therefore, is the impairment of health which results from a deficiency, excess, or imbalance of nutrients. Unfortunately, when we talk of malnutrition, we generally tend to relate it to undernutrition only. That is, lack of a particular food or a particular nutrient leading to undernutrition. Whereas, if you would have noticed in the definition, it is clearly stated that it is the impairment of health resulting from either a deficiency or an excess or imbalance of nutrient. So, eating less food is also called malnourishment, whereas eating food more than that required by the body, or if there is imbalance, can also lead to malnutrition. Therefore, there are two aspects to malnutrition. First is undernutrition. Undernutrition due to deficiency, lack of either calories or proteins in the diet, or it can be a deficiency of the micronutrients like the vitamins, minerals in the diet. These are the common undernutrition or malnutrition problems affecting our country today. Protein energy malnutrition is the lack of macronutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats in the diet. And vitamin minerals lead to micronutrient deficiencies, which are major public health problem in our country. That is one side of the coin. On the other hand, today, we are having problem of overnutrition. Eating more food than required by the body can lead to overweight and obesity, which is also called malnutrition. Therefore, an understanding about what is malnutrition, what is normal nutrition, how to ensure normal or good nutritional status is very important. So, we hope in this lecture you got a good perspective of what is nutrition, what are the functions of nutrients, how they contribute to good nutritional status, what we call as good nutritional status. So, it is clear that food is made of chemical substances called nutrients. Food have very important functions, physiological, psychological, social functions. Nutrition can be adequate or inadequate depending on whether the food consumed provide these essential nutrients in right amount and quality. Therefore, to maintain a good nutritional status, your diet should provide 50 to 60% of the calories from carbohydrates, 20 to 30% calories from fats, and 10 to 15 from proteins. We learned about carbohydrates, their food sources. Similarly for proteins and fats. Water is crucial. It is clear by now. So do look up the earlier lectures too. And with this lecture, we hope your concept of nutritional status and malnutrition is complete. Thank you for a patient hearing.